Hi, and welcome to Mr. Wilson Teaches Facial Mapping and Proportion. So today I'm going to show you proper proportion and facial mapping based off of all the rules that we know about faces using a couple different tools. So this will lead into your self-portrait project, which you'll be expected to know how to draw all these features. So I'm going to show you just some really basic lines and how to get everything placed on the paper. And then according to your own photo, obviously you might adjust here or there. So I do have a final photo. This is what I use for our other video, so drawing the self-portrait in graphite, or you can watch the charcoal one using a grid. So these are all the lines that we're really going to be basing off of. So for this video, it's just going to be very general. And you're going to end up with something along these lines, and again, it'll change depending on what your features are. So to get this started, the first thing is really the shape of the face. So one of the handouts that I give to my students is the general shape of the face, which is an oval. It comes down slightly smaller here, so sort of like an egg balancing on the smaller side. So when I give them the paper, I say make sure it doesn't have this cone head. You want it to be down this way. If you don't have that sheet, which chances are you probably don't, you can draw your own oval. I'm just going to sketch one out really quick using throw this one on the back to cheat a little bit. So it might take you a couple of tries to get the oval. And then once you get the oval, the first thing you want to do is split a line down the center. So this is your line of symmetry. Technically everything should be mimicking each other when you draw. So whatever happens on this side, the mirror image would be over there. That's the line of symmetry. So this can change too if you've ever broken your nose, if you have a birthmark, any sort of blemish. A lot of times if you're born premature, there might be one eye slightly tilted or smaller. So there are things that are off, but in general, the same. And then you're going to split the next part of the oval in half. So this gives us sort of the axis to work from. So this line right here is your line of sight. So on your photo, let's see if you were to take the edge where your top of your head is, the chin, about halfway should be your line of sight. That's where you always begin. Also for the line of sight, so on this example you can see I put dots there. So the measurement between your tear duct should be one eye. And you should also have about one eye on each side of it. So your face is 5 eyes across when you're looking straight on at someone. So that's the next part I'm going to put in here. So I'm just going to measure out. I guess would be somewhere around here and here. And then probably around there or there. And just take your fingers, slightly go over, see if it's close to that. And that's what we're going to be starting the image with. So this is your basic setup to be able to start drawing the face. Just to give you an idea of how eyes sort of change depending on what level you are. So usually a kindergartner would draw something along those lines. So you got your dots for your eyes. I guess if they're a sad kindergartner, it might look more like that. But in general, if they have a dot, they're doing pretty good. That's at level. As you get older, they start to change. So from the dot, might become a circle, first, second grade. After that, you'll have a circle with the dot in it. Again, this is at level for second, third grade. As they get older, they start to go a little more oval. Some of the more advanced kids, or depending on what their teacher is telling them, might start to get multiple circles in there, which is what we want. Usually by the time they're in 5th, 6th grade, they've got the football shape. They've got a circle and a dot inside. And then as you gain some knowledge in 7th grade, they might have the football with a tear duct on it. Hopefully the iris is starting to get closer to the edges and the line in. So that's the progression of sort of where you are all the way up until high school. Once you hit high school, we're going to change the shape a little bit. So I want this to look more like a lemon that's been in the sun a little too long. So the first thing I'm going to do is start by just drawing the tear ducts. So that's that little pink part at the edge of your eyes. I'm going to bring the pencil and make the arc. Again, you'd have to look at your eyes, see what they actually look like. Then I'm going to bring the line down and back up. This clings in a little bit too. Down and back up. So you can see already my dots are off. This one is slightly bigger than that one. I'm just going to make that adjustment now. Try to even them up as best as I can. Alright, that's a little closer. So that's as far as I'm going to get on the eyes so far. A lot of people would think this is wrong. Most people place their eyes much higher up, but you have to remember where you've got a quarter of this that's going to be full of hair. So your forehead would be placed in there. So you really do start in the middle. That's how you begin facial mapping. All this is designed based off mathematics too. So your head is split in half. There's halfway. If we take another half, so if we were to take this line across, so there's another half right there, that's going to be the tip of your nose. So the tip of the nose falls there. And then if you were to measure from your tear duct down, that's how wide your nose is. So kindergartner, they don't usually draw noses. The next progression would be putting some sort of dot in there. A lot of times they'll put a line. And then depending on what your teacher or what they picked up from others around them, it'll either turn triangle or it'll start to be some sort of open loop, then the half triangle, a half loop. Occasionally we see noses like that come up here and there, but mostly you want to be on this side where you're starting to get that three-dimensionality to it. So that's really similar to what we're going to be drawing here. So when you're looking at your nose, you want to see, does it point? So this is the tip of the nose we're looking at. Does it curve? Or does it have a mix sort of both? Most people will have a mix of some sort. So it's rare to have very pointy, rare to have round. Usually it'll be somewhere in between, and that's going to fall right onto the edge there. That's how long your nose is. And then for the nostrils, you're going to curl around. I'm just going to color them in so it's a little easier to see on the camera. And then your nostrils on the outside are pretty much parentheses that span out to those lines. And then depending on what your nose looks like, you may have a line there or there. Some people have a bulbous nose or a button nose. You might have a line right there, or a line there and there. And every once in a while there's a shadow that will fall right on the tip too. And then we're just going to lightly draw in where this bridge would be. So you never really connect them. You want this to fade into your cheekbone. So I'm just drawing where the bridge is. Alright, if we've done half for there, we're then halved it again. If you couldn't guess, we are then going to half another time. So taking away a half. And for the smile, or the lips, where they fall, usually for a full-grown adult, I'll line up the center of the eyes. I'm pulling that line down, and that's how wide the smile should be. And again, this is one of the last things to form too, so a lot of you might have smaller lips in there. It also changes based off ethnicity. So when you look at your smile, a lot of you will have a frown, smile. You might have a heart shape built into there, so a little dip. Some are very square, so we're looking at where the lips meet. What does it look like inside? So for mine, it's a frown, and then it has a small little dip in the heart shape there. So you have to look on the outside, does it go up or down? Look on the inside, is there a swoop or not? And then just sort of see what's going on in between. And then depending on your heritage, again, this will change. So I'm Irish, English, so usually that's a thin upper lip. And the bottom, slightly bigger, not connected through. Let's fix those up. And then after that, you're looking for any sort of facial features that fall in that area. So a lot of you will have a line there, might have a diamond shape, could have dimples. Usually there's some sort of shadow there. And then where your chin comes through, there's a slight line right there as well. So that's filling in all that bottom part. All right, next let's add ears. So when you add ears in, there's a couple shapes you could have. You could have the C, the elongated C, the elf, you could have the butterfly, the elephant, or the in-out. So based off those three shapes, you'll probably have a mix of a bunch of them. So mine's mostly the in-out with a little elongated C in there. And your ears always fall from the edge of your eye down to your nose. So that's where they start. You got the elongated C, they come out a little bit there. Elongated C, they come out just a touch and connect in. So that's where they're placed on the face. And then everyone will have an upper arc. You have a small flap of skin there, that's called your tragus. Got the lobe. And you probably have two lines of cartilage come right through there. Those are the ears are placed. And then for males, usually pretty straight, wider neck. They fall right around there. For females, it's just a little more in, a little more curved. But in general, it will be about the same line. And then you can add Adam's apple right in there. All right, so that's most of the main features. That's how it's all mapped out. Let's go back to the eyes a little bit and work in there. So after I draw in the general shape of the eye, you're going to draw in the tear ducts and the eyelids. And closing those out. And one of these is way higher than the other. Let's bring that down a little bit. And then for a relaxed or happy look, usually the iris will sit on the bottom, covered up a little by the top. And this pupil is going to be pitch black. And create also a light source. This will make it look more realistic. I'm just going to add a little bit of color so this stands out so you can see it better on camera. And then eyelashes start on the tear duct and work their way out. I don't usually draw the bags under the eyes when I do just a basic sketch. That'll be something you shade in later. If you draw too much, you're going to look a lot older than you are. And then for eyebrows, they start above the tear duct. And then they start going straight up and down, and then as you work your way across, they start to get smaller. And this will depend on your shape, where they're placed. You're going to have to look in the mirror and just double check, but usually the pattern is the same of how you're drawing which direction. You start to fill them in. Alright, so next is the hair. The hair should be a quarter. So if we half the half, which we did, half, 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 this is again half. And then your hairline could be the round, the squared off, the widow's peak, or the receding. So you're going to have to pull up your bangs, see which one you are. So mine's a mix of the round as well as the squared off. You start here, it's sort of squared. And as it goes towards the top, it gets rounded. And then depending on if you have sideburns or not, that'll come down and cover that area. And then for your hairstyle, you just have to draw the way that it's groomed or styled. So for mine, I have a part there and all of it goes to the side, and this is shorter. I'm going to start by drawing where the part is, and then you're just going to follow the lines. So using the mirror photo, and there's a cowlick right there. So cowlick, you just start right on the scalp where it connects, and then work your way over. And then the shorter the line, shorter the pencil stroke. And when you actually fill in on this next video, when you look at how to draw with the graphite, there's a lot more to it, but we're just drawing the basic lines in. Alright, so to clean this up a little bit, I'm just going to go out and erase all of our guiding lines. And then if you have any sort of freckles, birthmarks, things like that, that would be the next step. Glasses, piercings. You can see as I get rid of a lot of these lines, it starts to come together. So that's your proper proportioning. So there are little touches, like my neck is actually a little thinner. Go in there and get rid of some of that. Sure it would fall. I have freckles too that would start to come through. Got some bags under the eyes. So there's all different adjustments you can make once you get the basics. But that's really how to start out with a basic sketch. That's facial mapping, that's proportion. Everything will be tied together, and that's how you begin the process. If you'd like to watch our next video, it's Mr. Wilson Teaches Self-Portrait using graphite. That's the next lead-in, which this knowledge will help you with. So I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. You can check out our other videos for the next steps.